So as you know, I've been talking about photosynthesizing Christ. I'm still staying on this subject matter because I want to really sink my teeth really deep into the meat of the matter of this, because this is so profound, so powerful. If we can really grasp, really come into it, right? Be one with the understanding of what Christ means when he said he is the light. And if we can interpret that, right? If we can, there's something called exegetical and eisegesis and exegesis. One means correct interpretation and incorrect interpretation. So if we can get an exegetical, which is the correct interpretation, if we can really grasp and interpret what is and get the properties of what light is, and then fuse with that. If we can fuse the invisible spectrum, if we can fuse what light is with our being, we will transcend and move to a higher level in terms of evolution, in terms of our progress, in terms of our a journey and odyssey that we're all on, and also in terms of coming into the fulfillment of our divine purpose. So, because we all have a divine purpose, right? Just because you don't fulfill it or meet it doesn't mean you don't have it. All right, so this is vitally important that we get this and we plant this into the seed of our soul, into the soil of our hearts and the soil of our minds. Now, I'm gonna read from some of my notes here that I took, because this stuff is really heavy and dense and it's very complex. So within the field, the branch of photochemistry, photochemistry is a branch of science that deals with how our chemicals interact with light. And then there's photobiology that teaches how our molecules respond to the light, to the absorption of light. Now, all of these different sciences have the same rule, and that rule is, as I stated before, light must first be absorbed by the object for there to be an effect. If there's no absorption, there is no effect. So one of the rules states that no matter, I'll read from here. It says, blah, 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 where are we? Okay, it says that an atom, right? Atom will not change or have any kind of there will be no effects on an atom if the atom does not absorb the light, no matter how long the object interacts with that light. I'll say it again. If light is not absorbed by an object, in our case a person, no photobiological effects will occur, no matter how long a person or an object interacts with that light. So that means, in simple terms, no matter how long you sitting in church, or no matter how much somebody's telling you about the word of God, if you're not absorbing it, if it's not getting deep down into your soul, if the photons are not connecting with your atoms on an atomic level, there will be no effect, no biological effect. So it's important, again, that we understand that absorption. Get that word into your head. Absorption. We have to absorb the properties of light in order for, because we're light beings, right? So we have to absorb the properties of light in order to activate certain genes, genetic expressions within us. Certain genes will be expressed based off the activation or the interaction of the photons, which is light. I mentioned that before. So once we start to get light to interact with us on a subatomic level, when we understand this, when we start to grasp this, and the way you do this is through absorption, right? And the way you absorb is through meditation and constancy, right? The continuum. You have to be continuous, right? You have to be continuous in your ingestion, which is taken in, right? Taking in the light. You have to ingest it. You have to continuously ingest it. And then you have to go through what's called the gestational process, which is when you gestate, you develop. Women gestate a baby, right? A woman gestates a child in the 9-month period. That means the child is developing in her womb. Well, you have to do that with the light in your mind. You have to, in your spirit, in your soul, you have to gestate the light. You have to let the light ruminate, let it. I spoke before about chewing the cud, how animals bring food back up, chew it again, so they can get a proper digestion of all the nutrients. Well, you have to gestate, you have to ruminate, and you have to chew the cud of light, which is Christ. So if you're not doing that, there will be no effect. There will be no biological effect. So, and it's interesting that it says photobiological response. It's interesting because that tells bio has to do with life. So that tells me once light starts to really get into you, right? And I think I mentioned this before. We dwell and we exist in a low frequency because atoms, right? These are the laws of photochemistry. Atoms has a tendency to reside in a lower state. It's called a ground state. When a photon comes in contact with the atom, and should there be some connection or receptivity made, there is an elevation. The electrons within the atom moves up the electronic scale. It's called the excited state, and therefore you elevate. So if we can understand the science behind what light is, then we'll know why Jesus uses the light to express to us what he is and what he can do for you. So, let that light shine up on you. But remember, no matter how much it's shining on you, make sure you're absorbing it. Because if you're not absorbing it, and I mentioned this in my last video, everything that happens with the object in light rests on the object. So how light affects an object rests on the object. I can't stress that enough. So like I said, I got some more notes here, and I'm gonna keep cooking and keep doing my due diligence. And every time I get some gems, I'm gonna bring that to you. Okay, you can always count on me to do that. I'm gonna keep researching, keep putting together some gems. As soon as I get some more stuff, I'm gonna keep bringing it to you. And next thing I want to talk about in my next videos, we want to talk about leaves. Leaves, yes, leaves on a tree. I got some stuff that I've been studying on leaves, and I think it's gonna blow your mind. Right? Might make you break up with your girl. Might make you wanna, get rid of your best friends. It's just interesting. I'll just tease you a little bit. I don't want to give you too much, but I got something I want to talk to you guys about. The leaves that are on trees. And it will make you, wow. Again, I'm so tempted to tell you, but I'm going to just keep cooking the books, giving a whole new definition to cooking these books. Till next time, absorb that light.